Please help. I don't know what to do at this point. A bit of context. I'm a junior in high school and currently my school is on a spring break of sorts where they aren't doing online classes. That's nice and all, but I am extremely bored all day because of it. So to compensate for that, I've been taking random drives around town. I like driving. It's calming. So anyway, yesterday, I decided to take my skateboard to the old middle school and skate around, because I can't practice curbs in my garage. It's a big place and pretty secluded for a school. I got there, and just as I suspected, there was nobody there. I did notice a random white car parked in the lot, but there was nobody in it, and I passed it off as nothing. I brought my speaker and board and started cruising around, doing ollies and whatnot. I'm sort of a beginner. The best trick I can do is a shaky shoe-it. I was taking a break on one of the benches outside, listening to music and scrolling on my phone, when I had the random thought that I should look inside the windows of the school. I was a lot smaller and more innocent in middle school, so it might be interesting to see the inside with fresh eyes. I walked up to the first window and squinted, placing my hand on the glass. Inside the room was a table, some chairs, and a whiteboard with random notes still on it, and an extra large soda cup like the kind you get at the movies. I cringed, imagining that the soda was still in there fermenting. My eyes lingered on the soda cup before something caught the corner of my eye. I looked at the doorway and stopped. There was a man. He was just standing there, completely naked, dick hanging out and everything. He had to be around 6'2" or 6'3", judging from his position in the room, and proportionately muscled. He was completely hairless, bald up top, no eyebrows or facial hair, but what stopped me was his eyes. They never blinked, never twitched, just stared at me directly. I shivered. I slowly backed away from the window, not taking my eyes off the man. Once I was back at the bench, I quickly grabbed my stuff and ran to my car. I stayed in the locked car for a while, just parked in the lot. Needless to say, I was more than a little freaked out. Who was that guy? Why was he naked? And why was he in the school? And why did he stare at me like that? I started the car up and drove home. I started playing music in the car, but my mind kept going back to the guy. When I got home, I stayed in the kitchen where my mom was cooking dinner. I didn't want to be alone for some reason. During dinner is when I saw him again. I was eating my food, staring at my bowl hazily, as my parents and brother talked about some TV show. Then something again caught my eye. From the very corners of my vision, I saw him. He was sitting on my couch, body turned away from me, but head cocked in an unnatural manner towards me, staring. I quickly looked directly at the couch, only to see nothing. Now he was in the hallway, again, in the peripherals of my vision, still naked, still staring. My parents didn't seem to notice anything. Big surprise. I stayed at the table for as long as I could before finally getting up and going to the bonus room to play Xbox. He was still in the bonus room with me, this time sitting on the floor by the wall, legs pulled up to his chest. He never made any noise, never shifted at all, but I could tell he was a little bit different. He was definitely not human. I don't know how to explain it, but his hands were too big. His head was a little too small, his nose was a little too flat. Not enough to be noticeable, but enough that after sitting with him in the bonus room for an hour, I could make it out. That night I tried to sleep. If I slept facing away from the wall, he lurked in the dark corner of my room. If I slept on my back, he stood right next to my bed. I tried sleeping facing the wall, as there was no place for him to be. I was wrong. When I lied on my side facing the wall, he sat at the foot of my bed. I decided on sleeping away from the wall, since in that position he was farthest away from me. He stayed that way the whole night, staring at me from the darkness. I didn't sleep that night. I don't know what would happen if I closed my eyes, if he would get closer. So that brings us to now. I'm writing this on my bed. He is still standing in the corner of my room, watching. I can tell his features are more defined, and he seems to be getting bolder, as if he's testing how far into my vision he can be. When I looked at him for that long time at the school, he must have became latched on me somehow. If only I hadn't looked into that window. Nobody else sees him, and he doesn't show up in pictures. I've tried.